Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel Clean Up Your Room. This video is for those of you who have just started a new job, or perhaps this is even your first job and maybe you've been just working for a couple of days and you've been asked to join this meeting. Everyone around you is talking about this project and there are tons of terms and words that you don't understand. You don't know what's going on and you just feel kind of lost and an outsider. So in this video, I just wanted to try to give you a few tips on what you can do in this situation. Number one is observe. You might be tempted to immediately join the conversation or even give your opinion on things. But in the very first meeting, most important is to observe, to listen carefully, and to take down a lot of notes. By listing down all the things that you don't understand and terms that you don't know yet, by the end of the meeting, you will have a list of things to research further and to figure out. Number two, get to know people. This is especially important for those kind of meetings where the participants are not only the colleagues from your own department, but also from other departments. So at the end of the meeting, before everyone goes back to their desks, try to use this as a kind of a networking opportunities and get to know as many people as possible. Simply approach them, tell them your name, your position, and your responsibility, and then in turn also ask them what their role is. And by doing this, you would kind of already build a bridge to this person. So by the time you need to work with them on a common project or so, it will be much more easier to connect. Number three, ask questions. Duh, this sounds kind of obvious, right? But the important thing is to ask the right questions at the right time and to the right person. So let's take, for example, this large meeting. Let's say it was a marketing meeting which had the goal to discuss a marketing promotion, a marketing campaign for existing customers. And there are a few terms like, for example, TNC or average balance that you don't understand. So talking about right timing, obviously it's not the right time to ask about these terms in the middle of this meeting. So what you should do is after the meeting, try to find out what these terms mean. And about the right questions, meaning that ideally before you ask questions, you try to make some effort and try to find out from other resources such as perhaps an intranet you have in the company or some brochures. Why not just ask any questions about anything? The reason is that especially in the beginning, you might have really 100 or 200, 300 questions, and you cannot possibly ask all these questions to even your colleagues, right? So what you want to do is to take, for example, these 100 questions and then narrowing them down by doing your own pre-work first. Try to find out what like at least half of these things mean, what they're about, and then you have these remaining questions that you ask to your colleagues. Which brings us to the third thing, which is address these questions to the right person, meaning that you have questions with difficult levels of difficulty, let's say. There are questions of a more strategic nature, for example, how are we planning to increase our market share, to those questions that are more a matter of definition. For example, what is average customer balance? So you don't want to ask all of these questions to your boss because you want to try to ask your boss about more high level, about more strategic managerial things. So try to get your, let's say, lower level questions answered at a lower level as well. For example, if you want to know more about what an average balance means, then perhaps you can ask another colleague of yours who understands something about this topic, what the definition of this is and how it is calculated and so on. So you can like save your boss's time to ask him or her more important questions. Number four, prepare for the next meeting. As a newcomer, it's totally okay if you don't understand much about what is going on in meetings, but your goal should be to understand more and more each time so you can get more involved in the discussion instead of just being a listener. And this means that you need to do your homework. Get up to speed by learning people's names, their roles, processes in the company, goals of your department, and so on. Try to make sense of the notes that you already have from the last meeting. Look at it as a game. It's like a puzzle where 50% of it is still missing, but gradually you collect all the pieces and you put them together, and then you start to understand the whole picture. Believe me, your colleagues and your boss will be so impressed about how fast you are able to learn, but also about how proactive you are about taking responsibility about your own learning. Number 5, hang out with your peers. What I mean by peers is your colleagues who are at a similar career stage as you are. And it doesn't matter whether they are in the same department or in another department. The point is that these are colleagues who are at a similar career stage, so that they are confronted with similar kind of concerns, questions, and issues, and they've also just recently joined the company, but maybe longer than you are, so they understand what position you are in. They understand that as a newbie you have a lot of questions, but at the same time they know a bit more than you do. So hanging out with your peers gives you less hesitance to ask them questions about all kind of things that you might not ask your other colleagues about. If this video was useful for you, please let me know in the comments. And if you have any more specific questions on this topic or any other topic, please let me know in the comments below. I'd be very thankful for that, and I would also try to cover that in my next video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again very soon.